Good morning. So today we're going to do something a little bit different. If you've been watching my lives for a while, you know that normally there is a specific background and all the things during those lives. But I started this thing last week because of a lot of the networking that I've been doing lately in the Middle Tennessee area. And if you're in the Middle Tennessee area and you're like, hey, I'd love to meet up with you and have a coffee chat and just chat about marketing or corporate training or leadership and just have a normal person to person conversation, I'd love to send you that link so you can always just DM me and let me know. But the purpose of today is to start each week moving forward with this idea of how can you find a place where you can just ask questions about the things that you're doing in business as an entrepreneur or high achiever in your own business or as a leader in a corporation. Hey, I've got people that come to me and they will DM me and they'll say, hey, Kabrina, I just started a new position and I'm in leadership for the first time and I don't know what to do. And having the ability to have somebody that you can have a conversation with as a friend, as somebody who's in your network, and not feel like you're going to get pressured into something, because I think we can all raise our hand that we've been there, that somebody has sat down with us and said, oh, hey, I've got all these cool things for you, which is great because we all need to eat and live indoors. But at the same time, having something constantly shoved down your throat is a whole nother thing that we don't want to deal with. So a lot of times we don't even ask the questions that could be easily answered or give us direction of what we need to do. I can't promise that you're going to sit down with me and I'm always going to say, hey, here's the step-by-step guide of what you need to do, because I also have to live and eat indoors. But I'm also going to give you the best advice that I can in that 30 minutes to 45 minutes that we're sitting down talking together. So I wanted to open up this space as a place. So if you're not ready to hop on a call with somebody, whether that's me or somebody else, you can drop those questions in the comment section wherever you're seeing this video. Or you can also put those in a DM to me, because the more that we're able to have this community of I answer your questions, you answer mine, the more we're going to see bigger and better things come of this. And so the ability, hi, see, and so you get these moments where you get to run into people that you see constantly in different kinds of coffee shops. And so if you have questions on marketing, or how do I train my team? What does leadership look like? What do I need to be doing in order to move to that next thing in my ability? Or, hey, I'm trying to move from being vice president to president and I'm needing to get on stages and I'm not sure how, or my company is asking me now that I'm a leader to go and speak in front of people and I'm not sure how to do that. I don't know how to find those things. Or, hey, I need some help writing a speech. What are some suggestions that you give me? And I'm happy to be that person for you to be a bounce board. And so the more things that you're like, hey, I have questions about this, the great thing is that the more content I can make for you. Because at the end of the day, as somebody who is a person who's being a thought leader within all of these spaces, my job is to find what are the pain points that are happening and create more content around that. So if there's a time when you're like, hey, my team is doing X, Y, and Z because now we're moving into we're starting to talk about second quarter and all the things that we didn't get done in first quarter, and I'm not exactly sure what to do with that. Let's have a conversation. Drop those questions in here, because then we can have a collective conversation. Think about it like those moments when you're sitting somewhere and you hear somebody say something and you're like, oh my God, me too. I've been dealing with that, but I didn't think that it was anybody else that was dealing with it but me. And this is where we get to create community around how do we lead better? How do we train our teams? How do we get more buy-in so that we can stop the quiet quitting and get more people engaged in what we're doing in the world that we live in, so that work can be enjoyable, so we don't hate Mondays, which is another reason that I want to do this on Mondays with you. And we're just going to consistently show up. If you have questions, great. We'll answer them throughout the week. If you don't have questions, great. I will continue with the planned content that I already have. And this gives me the opportunity to help people that can't afford my services as well. So if there's anything you're like, hey, I need to get this question answered. Hey, do you know any books about this? What are some things? Because after last week, asking several people what their thought, like what was leadership to them, you might have seen my kiddos came on during the snow days to talk about what they thought leadership was. And so once they said some things, I started asking around, what do you think leadership is? And nobody had a really great answer of what leadership was. And so I had to rephrase the question of what is good leadership? And a lot of the answers that I started to get were more of that Simon Sinek idea of leaders eat last. And so, what does it take for you as somebody who is leading a team, who is either C-suite, a manager, or just a team leader? It doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, leading comes from leading ourselves, leading our families, leading our communities, and then leading the people that are set under us in any capacity. So whether you have a team under you right now, you're planning to, that you want that within your career, these are all aspects that we need to be considering. Because when we look at the definition of leader, it's getting people to do things that get to whatever cause it is. And the thing is that a good leader can do that, and a bad leader can do that. So how do we differentiate? And one of those pieces that we came up with last week, if you watched Friday's live, was actually the values and empathy. So how do we have the right values, and what are those values? What are values that we need to embody, or that we need to look for in other people as we're raising up leaders in our organizations to help us create what we want to create in this org or in our own business and moving things forward. So if you have any questions, my ask for you today is pop them in the comments. If you're not wanting to ask them in the comments, or you're not wanting somebody to see those, DM them to me. I will put those in there. I will give you the direct answer through a voice note, and then I will make sure that nobody gets named in these unless you put yourself in the comments for people to see. And I will talk about these specific questions that you have across the board, because it gives up everybody a leg up when we all work together in this. So until tomorrow.